Hey, what's up, y'all? Back with more Higurashi. I finally came back to posting a couple weeks ago, and then, of course, the following week was like Christmas and New Year's came after that, of course. That's how time works. And now, I guess my gift to myself is playing this again. Yay! So, back to doing this now. The pillow was way too much of a pain to have between me and the microphone, so now my clown protection is this blanket, I guess. So, it's so embarrassing, man. But this game is very well done that it is so terrifying, and I don't know what's going on. So we're gonna keep going, see if we can maybe figure something else out, see what else Keiichi can figure out, and hopefully not die. Very worried for our boy. Last time, thankfully, he was able to be a bit more proactive in terms of like even just thinking like if he did die, like leaving the note that he did and letting his parents know, like to check that in the only way he could think of, which understandable. But he's thinking a bit more clearly now, which I really like. But his whole just progression of mentally deteriorating, emotionally, of course, like in every sense, just like he's fucked basically. Yeah, he's super super fucked. But maybe he can get out of this. I don't know. This is a very long chapter of a very long VN series, so who knows what can happen. Like, just the scale of that is still so insane to me. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep going and see what happens. So, let's go. Oh, sweet Jesus. I like where we're starting. This was the first time I'd ever woke with such clarity. It was 5:59, just moments before my alarm would go off. I was amazed at the precision of my internal clock. I had made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. I changed quickly and descended to the deserted lower floor. It appeared that my mom was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. Yesterday, I just unilaterally declared that I would be leaving early today, so it couldn't be helped. I slathered jam on some bread and topped it with instant cocoa. Just as I was finishing up breakfast, Mom rose groggily from her slumber.
あら、ケイチ、今日は早いのね。学校の行事か何か？
別に。
Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood after stuffing 2 slices of bread down my throat.
もう行くの？お弁当は？もうちょっと待ってくれないとできないわよ。
If I waited for her to make my lunch, then it would end up being the same time as usual. If I did that, it would raise the chances of me running into Rena and Mion on the way. Yes, from today onwards, I was going to go to school alone.
今日はいいよ。
じゃあお昼はどうするの？
抜け出して商店で菓子パンでも買うよ。
そう。じゃあこれ、お昼代ね。ちゃんとレシート持ってくるのよ。
I took the 1,000 yen bill from Mom and slipped it into my pocket.
こんなに早いけど、レナちゃんたちもこんなに早いの？
いや、俺だけ。
Just me.
レナちゃんには早く出るって伝えてあるの？
I have no reason to tell her every little detail, now do I? Finding it difficult answering the onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed face.
レナが来たら、ケイチは先に行ったって伝えてよ。
Yeah, it's because, dude, last time it's like we even got the insight into the tip of like the girls in the classroom and basically the implication of what Mion said like to Rena and them like laughing together, and of course Keiichi like himself understanding like they're gonna fucking kill me. They don't know what I know and they don't want to risk what I know. So yeah. But again, Keiichi's got clarity now, more than he's had in everything that's unraveled, ever since the Watanagashi. So let's see what he can do. Rooting for our boy.
ちょっとケイチ、待ちなさい。
For our boy Tomitake. Everybody. It's not that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them, yeah. They couldn't help me. I could only hope that they didn't get involved, yeah. It was safer that way. So fucked. My mom's annoying voice was cut off by the slam of the door. Jeez. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to school alone. Yeah, so isolated.
「
All right. Up until now, I had always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I always met with the same people at the same places. But today was different. I didn't meet the people I would normally, and nobody was at the places where I would have normally met them. Of course, Rena wasn't in the spot where we usually met, and there wasn't anyone at the spot where we would have met up with Mion. The length of the tree's shadows, the morning air, and the brightness of the sun, it was a completely different type of morning from what I was used to. Without a doubt, it felt strange. It left me with the impression that I had destroyed the illusion Hinamizawa had set up for me before it had enough time to prepare all the props needed to deceive me. Wow. Yep. That is, goddamn.
あら、ケイチくん。今朝は早いわね。みんなで早朝から待ち合わせ？
Man. The person who called out to me was someone we always passed by as they were taking a walk along the edge of the fields. Their name was, I forgot. Of course, this wasn't the spot where we usually passed each other.
今朝は早くに目が覚めちゃったので気分転換なんです。あまり気にしないでください。
I threw out a random excuse.
レナちゃんやミオンちゃんはどうしたんだい？今日は一人なの？
Oh god.
ええ、まあ。
I was being asked the same type of questions my mom was asking, so I answered them in the same uninteresting, vague manner. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed by someone, but maybe it was to be expected. It was because for so long, we were always together so amicably. Even I felt that if I let my guard down, we could still be friends. Stop it, Keiichi. Don't think about that anymore. You spent all day yesterday thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you? It's heartbreaking, man. Fucking heartbreaking. Cause yeah, I remember he was like you're soft, Keiichi. Like what the fuck, you know? And when he even like outbursted to himself, like out loud in the classroom, you know, it's like. He reached like such a critical point and he's like, fuck, I'm soft. It's like, okay, I gotta resolve myself, and he got his clarity. But even, of course, even still, like that is there. He can't get rid of this because that's how it was for so long, and he's only fucking human, man. Even as a VN protagonist. God. Beep beep beep. A car horn blared from out of nowhere. Even though I was walking, lost in thought, that horn was way too close. Is it our boy? Mechanical behemoth barreled at me from behind, catching me completely off guard. Is it hitting him? What the fuck? By the time I turned around, the van's hulking chassis was almost on top of me. I'd seen plenty of cars veer to the opposite shoulder to avoid pedestrians, but this car was doing the opposite. Oh my god. Did they just... No way. It felt like there was somebody on the opposite shoulder and the van was swerving in my direction to avoid them. That blissfully ignorant train of thought delayed me from realizing something much more important. That large mass was hurtling right at me. Was it going to hit me? The inside of my head instantly flooded with a painfully cold liquid. What? In that moment, the scene before me, no, time itself had frozen. In the silence of that frozen moment, I compared the van, so close that I had no way to dodge it, and my body, the upper half twisted awkwardly in order to look behind me. There was no way I could dive out of the way in my current position. If I lost focus now, this moment would unpause, and I would probably be plowed over, caught in this silly pose. My god, this sound design, dude, and that is like so real. Like in those moments, it's like, yeah, I've been in a car, like a bad car accident. Yeah, everything like goes like just like super slow, and it's just like, or it feels that way, right? And it's like, I gotta do something now. Bend my upper body over towards the patty by the side of the road. If I bent far enough, I'd get away with just being hit by the side view mirror. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, the temporal stasis was shattered by the deafening sound of the van. The side mirror struck my shoulder, sending me spinning off through the air like a top, locked in my contorted position. Splash. Sent tumbling through the air, I crashed into the muddy patty by the side of the road. My entire body was soiled and drenched, but the choice I had made in that instant was unmistakably for the best. God damn. He's so good. I was covered in mud, but when the alternative was being hit by the car, it was the closest I could do to being unscathed. Rising up from the patio, I had enough in me to glare over at the stopped van and yell profanities at the driver. I'm not sure if he was able to see me, but the van sped off suddenly. Oh, I don't like that.
待てよクソ
Holy shit. They really tried to hit and run him. Or did they? It's like, was it an accident? Did someone really try? I mean, he even said, like, his naive train of thought. It's like, oh, it's almost like they were trying to not hit someone, so they swerved this way. But no, they were, like, trying to hit him, obviously. Maybe. I don't know. This fucking the end. But, yeah, the fact that they sped off like that after the mirror hit him, like, dude. I hate that. Oh my god.
これって引き逃げって言うんじゃねえのかよ
I couldn't help but continue yelling out profanities. The disgrace for being covered in mud hurt me more than any physical wounds. I slogged through the muddy patty and made my way back onto the road.
これって犯罪じゃねえのかよちくしょう
Shit, I'll track you down and sue you. If I go looking for a van, I'm sure to find it in this little village. The path I was on had rice paddies on either side, and it had become so narrow that one car could barely fit through. It wasn't a place you could tear full speed down in a car, let alone pass by pedestrians. Not only was it a narrow road, but the car just now was closer to my side of the road than the other when it went past me. Even as I cursed, I was desperately trying to suppress the dark cloud roiling up within me. God, this wasn't just a hit and run. That car just now was trying to run me over, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Thinking back, I did feel like there had been a car creeping up on me slowly for a while. Dude, it was following him. Oh my god. Holy crap. That's right. As soon as I'd parted ways with that person taking a walk, I had that feeling the whole time. Dude. This village of Hinamizawa is like a fucking SCP. And all its inhabitants are like... what do they call them? Like the SCP number and then like A or something. Just like... it's little inhabitants that make it up. Oh my god. As soon as he encountered them, they knew. Eyes and ears everywhere. If it had wanted to pass me, then it had no shortage of chances. Normally I would have felt suspicious and turned around sooner. But I was lost in thought, and I was kicking myself for not realizing it was there sooner. And then, when the path became narrow and there was no one else in sight, he floored it. If I had hesitated for even a moment, the result would have been no laughing matter. As the adrenaline rush from nearly being run over subsided, and the realization of just how terrifying the preceding events were sunk in. There was no doubt about it. That van was intentionally trying to hit me. Yeah, if there was any doubt Keiichi had about, like, they're trying to kill me. Yeah. They're trying to kill him. Like, they're just like, yeah. That's it. And we saw it with the conversation between Mion and Rena, because of course Mion knows how to play up that aspect of Oyashiro-sama, because we know Rena's past and how she like is so consumed by that. You know what it did to her. Like she's a broken girl, and she was doing anything just to like out of her fear. She is so terrifying because of her fear. You know, that's what we know, right? So yeah, of course, like they're like working towards that after we saw that, and yeah, there's no doubt anymore. And it's funny, like wow, this happened. Wow, Keiichi was thinking about like, oh, I feel like if I let my guard down, we could be friends again. You know, like he said, lost in these thoughts, being soft, as he says, being human, of course, really, you know, just being a person going through this shit. Most people would do worse, of course. I think this would drive most people into doing nothing, going crazy, just going status quo out of fear, like, you know what I mean? So it's, yeah. There's just no room for anything now. You can't just walk around and think that's it. A cold viscous sweat seeped from my scalp and slid down my back before dribbling off. I struggled to avoid falling into a panic. That's the thing, he's getting pushed further and further and further, And eventually we're gonna be at the intro for when he fucking snaps. I feel it. There was still the possibility that this was really just an accident. Calm down, Keiichi. But also don't be so naive, Keiichi. Being that lax will get you killed next time. Yeah? You need to always be on your toes. Don't give them any openings. If my enemy was really out to kill me, then next time they would use a more reliable method. If that time came and I was acting like I was now, getting covered in mud was the price I had paid for my own naivete. Covered in mud, but without injury. Not even a sprain. I guess this was what you would call the silver lining. I began walking again, this time cautiously. I wouldn't even show a hint of carelessness. I had suspected only Rena and the others up until now. No, it was because I had suspected them that I had believed there were no other enemies. Uishi-san had said so, didn't he? There was the possibility of a village conspiracy. Was I really mired so deeply in the situation that I had no choice but to try and carry on as usual? Wouldn't it be safest just to hole myself up in my house? But the moment I abandoned my regular routine, everyone around me would abandon theirs as well. True. Oh my god, that's so true. There's no need to keep up the facade if he's not even gonna fall into the trap. The hunters will just come to him, you know? Fuck, man. That was just too horrifying of a thought. So terrifying. This is so fucking scary. Because yeah, it makes sense, but yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way either. It's like, we're so concerned about them that the villagers themselves can just do it. Because they're in on it. Like, it's like with Rena. She's scared, but she will do things out of her fear. I'm sure the villagers are scared too. But they will do what they can to not disrupt the hunt. I recall the tales Oishi-san told me of when Namizawa was still called Onikakushi. A frightening tale of an entire village of demons hunting their prey, surrounding them and eating them alive. One must not interfere with the demons. One must pretend not to see it. The enemy were numerous, the whole village. The villagers, with their unwavering faith in the curse, would do nothing to help me. Yeah. The strong, sudden flash of sunshine made me slightly dizzy. I had no idea what was going on anymore. That is the line of this VN. When I suspected it was the work of man, I would catch a glimpse of Oyashiro-sama's curse. When I suspected it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, someone would poke their head out. What was coincidence? What was intentional? Who was my enemy? Who was just a bystander? No, what I really truly wanted to know was, how did I end up with the proverbial bullseye painted on my back? Eventually, an answer in a form I could understand will appear. Oh? I don't care when that will happen, because until then, I cannot die. Let's go, buddy. Fucking go, dude. That alone fueled my resolve to fight and will keep me alive. I like it. That's the best he can resolve to, man. Rooting for our boy so hard. I remembered seeing the metal bat in the gym storage shed, but there was a padlock on the door barring my entry. At the very least, I wanted to get my hands on it before everyone else arrived at school. Right. Okay, I just remembered. Yeah, he did mention that before. And yeah, that was like the plan. No shit. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. But all I could find were things like pieces of lumber, nothing that I could bring into the classroom easily. Then I had an epiphany. I should search inside the classroom. There was something in the classroom to begin with, and there wouldn't be a problem. True. Wouldn't look suspicious. I could tell that everyone's indoor shoes were still in their lockers. Good thing I came early. Nobody else was here yet. I wondered, what could I find in the classroom? I didn't think I could find an especially effective weapon like a bat. But it couldn't be helped at this point. Till the gym storage shed was open, I needed to find a substitute. A lingering hint of naivete whispered that there was no way I'd be attacked at school. Well, but such soft ideas would no longer protect me, yeah. To think that they were slowly making their way into parts of my life that I had once thought impenetrable. In the worst case, my own house might not be safe anymore. Dude, that was out the window as soon as Rena was like eavesdropping. Like that was when that line was crossed. you know, at night when they visited him, on the walk just now. Like, yeah, he's getting it. I'm not saying that, oh, he should have got it before, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's so clear now that he's so fucked. That was an incredibly frightening thought, but I believe that not considering the worst case scenario would have been even more frightening. True. Anyways, I will survive. As long as I lived, then I will definitely be able to escape this labyrinth of nonsense. I like that optimism. Definitely. Well, he's trying to convince himself. Which is, you know, fair enough. My exploration of the classroom came to an impasse. That much was to be expected. There was no way there would be anything that could be a weapon in the classroom. In case of emergency, there was probably nothing I could do but swing my own chair around. This chair. This chair. My gaze landed on the lockers that had come to be used for personal storage. Ooh. The locker that Mion used to store her pile of games was among them. There was one for each person in the class, all lined up. There's gotta be a weapon hidden in there, like a knife or something. Of course, there was one for me as well. Oh yeah, there was supposed to still be a tracksuit in my locker. Seeing me covered in mud would be strange. I should go change later. But first I needed a weapon. When my classmates came, it would be hard to rummage through all the lockers. I swiftly began opening the lockers one by one. They were mostly just filled with things like gym clothes, personal items, and umbrellas. An umbrella. If I couldn't find anything better, then this would have to be my weapon. Oh my goodness. I was about to give up on finding anything decent when I opened a locker that held exactly what I wanted. Oh? It was without a doubt a metal bat. It was well worn and pretty beaten up, but there was no doubt it was usable. In that locker that reeked of mold, there also hung a baseball uniform. It was probably the locker of a student in a Pee-wee league or something like that. If that was the case, then he'd probably ask for it back. At that time, I could hear the voices, excuse me, of the children scuffling their way noisily in from the hallway. Oh, here we go. Amongst them, I could make out Rika-chan and Satoko. Oh boy. Hello. Damn, the triple Ara? I nonchalantly hid the bat I was holding behind my back. Oh my god. He was still holding it. Oh, I thought he was gonna like put it back or like whatever as he heard them coming in, but he's like, no, behind my back, you know. Of course, panicking. Shit. In front of these two small children, who I still don't know what to think of. Like, Mion and Rena are the ones like we see, like regarding like all this. I have no idea what to think of these two. These are babies. These are little itty bitty babies. But there was at least 4 at the scene of the crime. So look, listen. In a village ruled by fear, anything is possible. Anyways, hello.
With
that said, I began taking off my clothes. Satoko began... Why are you doing that here? Satoko began to blush just as I expected her to. Satoko feigned disgust. She went into the hall, still blushing. Conversely, Rika-chan continued to stare at me, preparing to change. The fuck is this scene? I mean, I agree, you two are babies, but, she deliberately pouted and looked at me with upturned eyes. Okay, that was cute, but this is still terrifying. Rika-chan, appearing to be satisfied with being considered a lady, made her way to join Satoko in the hallway. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, Rika-chan stopped suddenly and turned back towards me. Oh god. Seems that Rika-chan had noticed the bat. Oh god.
ああ、ちょっとさ、体がなまってさ、ちょっと素振りでも始めようかなってな。
健康に気を使うのはとても良いことだと思いますです。
Who's talking like an old lady despite her appearance. After saying that, I was about to say, is she like the trope where she's like an ancient god? It's just like here. For saying that, Rika-chan started to leave again, but stopped and looked back at me once more.
そのバットなくさないでくださいねです。
Okay. It seems she already knew I took it out of someone's locker. There was no name on the locker door. I didn't know whose bat it was, but I would be borrowing it until they complained. It wouldn't be for long, just until the gem storage shed was opened. It'll never open. I mean, hopefully it does, but I don't know. Keiji's doing his best. After quickly changing into the tracksuit, I checked the time. Still had plenty of time before class began because I came so early. I took the bat in one hand and went out to the schoolyard. That was, of course, to practice my swing. I needed to make it known I would always have a bat on me so I could practice my swing. Okay, another thought. Since, so the game just addressed the idea that Keiichi, and like himself realizing that he's been so hyper-focused on Mion and Rena and the group, that the villagers' involvement in, like, killing him and, like, being just actively part of that, he completely overlooked. And I just did the same thing, being like, okay, there was 4 of them at the scene of the crime. It could have been Mion, Rena, and just 2 of the villagers. Any of them can act on the behalf of Sonozaki family or just the tradition of Oyashiro and the Onikakushi. As far as like what I think of Rika and Satoko, they're hard to like gauge as far as their involvement or what's going on. Maybe that's a pointless thought, just considering like everyone is an enemy in the grand scheme, but yeah, I don't know, it's very interesting. I'm very curious about like what their deal is now in things going on, you know what I mean? But yeah. I needed to make it known I would always have a bat on me so I could practice my swing. At some point, the sunlight had become even stronger. Disregarding my classmates as they made their way to school, I took my position in the shadow of the school building. I wasn't the academic type, and I wasn't much of an athlete either. I might get muscle pain if I just suddenly started swinging. I should at least start out with some warm-ups. Actually, like, a bit of a scratch that to what I was just saying earlier. Because, again, Tomitake killed himself. Like, that's what it looked like. That he did that. Now, that is, again, that is extreme. Like, with lack of drugs in his system, like, for him to do that to himself, it's like, what would make him do that to himself? Now, even if, like, what I was thinking, which is, like, my scratched out, which is that if the 4 girls were the ones who did it, that could drive him just, like, mentally to that point. But at the same time, that is such, like, a... You would have to already be on the edge, like, to be pushed over that. Now, considering he did know about Yashiro and, like, all these kinds of things, and Watanagashi and everything, like, you know, him and that girl told Keiichi about all that. No, the woman we know is missing still, but it could be, so, because that's what I was originally thinking, right? If it was the 4 of them, like, regardless if I'm fixating on them or not, and, you know, not just villagers, I think it plays into, like, the psychological damage that would be required to make Tomitaka do that to himself. But it also just could be, again, we don't know everything, so it could just be a completely different, or another factor. Like, maybe 4 villagers dressed up as demons, or maybe, like, there is actually a supernatural aspect to them that's gonna make people do that to themselves, or I don't know. As of right now, I don't think there's anything supernatural going on. I think the villagers, because they believe it is quote-unquote real because they act on that behalf, and that's where their beliefs are. And yeah, once again, all that leads up into I don't know enough. So, you know, whatever. But I just, you know, wanted to touch a base on that real quick, just with what the game just did about Keiichi kind of calling himself out on fixating, but at the same time, I don't know. If anything, it just throws another wrench, which, you know, I'm sure is the point. I doubt anyone would think I was doing something out of the ordinary, which was the exact opposite of my actual mental state. I gripped the bat and swung lightly. The bat was by no means light. The weight would make it a reliable weapon when I needed it to be. Of course, I could only pray that the moment I needed to use this as a weapon would never come. Just carrying it around could deter attacks against me. At least that's what I hoped.
あれケイちゃん
Stay back.
まだ何やってんの
Back, you two. Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped.
ああ、ケイチくん、野球部だよ。野球部だよ。
Like I said last part or the part before, if it was just Mion here, I would be significantly less terrified. But at the same time, Mion hasn't really fully shown her whole thing yet, I feel like. We kind of got a glimpse through the crack in the door when she said what she said when they left, but again, infinitely more terrified of Rena just because she is. Oh, poor girl. It was Rena and Mion.
先に行ったって言われて驚いたけど、ケイちゃん、あんた何やってるわけ？
見てわからないかよ。素振りだよ。甲子園だよ。別にダイエットでもいいぞ。
ダイエットってケイちゃん、そんなに太ってたっけ？
ああ、知らなかったろ。実は三段腹なんだ。もちもちでタプタプなんだぞ。
もちもちでタプタプ。
レナ、変な想像しなくていいぞ。
Yeah, what the fuck, Rena? I've been doing a lot better health-wise. Side note. Who gives a fuck? But, working out, you know, dieting. That's cool. To disrupt Rena from imagining something that vulgar, I ruffled her hair messily. I can't.
じゃあまあ、頑張って県大会を目指してちょうだいよ。おじさん応援してるわ。野球部の強い高校教えよっか。
Oshima High.
そこにいる左腕の亀田くんがすごいピッチャーなんだけどさ。頑張ってね。
Ameda. Seems they've already taken me for a baseball nut, but oh well. Well, if I really did make it to the championship, it would be a cinch. After all, I'd be the pitcher and catcher. I'd pitch the ball, then run past the ball I just threw and change over to being the catcher in a burst of super incredible explosive speed. I laughed dryly at the ludicrous image. Coming back to my senses, I smashed the bat against the ground.
くそ！何笑ってんだよ、俺！
I was gonna say, that is surprising that he found some levity there, but he just caught himself. There you go. Pounded the ground over and over. With each impact, the reverberation traveling through the bat stung my hands. Ooh, I can feel that, dude. My god. If they smile at me like that, ow, ow. Ugh. Don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone, no matter how many times I tell myself that. Made me smile like that. Ow. Ugh. I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends. But I just couldn't believe it. Did that kind of split personality really exist? Now Rena confessed to the doctor. Were they simply being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? In other words, did a supernatural being like Oyashiro-sama really exist? And was it possessing everyone to try and kill me? Yeah, that would be wonderful. If only everyone were actually my friends all along and everything was all just Oyashiro-sama's fault. Wow. Yeah, he wants it to be that, of course. Yeah. God damn, man.
前原圭一のバカ野郎！だから！
The illusion is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. It is paper thin right now. Like before, even like the day prior, he was able to navigate like being in class. Of course, he had to come, right? Continue to drive him crazy. Here, it's just like one moment, one smile, and he's just like, "Fuck, what the fuck am I doing?" You know, it's like, I can't do this, right? He's, oh my god, being cornered. I yelled out, drawing out all the power from the pit of my stomach, and raised the bat violently into the air. That's why I like the intro being a thing. I feel like it's going to be the thing at the end of this. That's why it makes so much sense to me, because, of course, you corner someone who's scared, like, they're going to lash out. Back against the wall. Like, he doesn't have a choice, and he's already preparing to kill them, even. He's preparing. I don't think he's fully considered that idea. He's talking about, like, defending himself, like, for the most part, as far as I can tell. Yeah, like, deter attacks against me. And, of course, like, yeah, he's like, I can only pray that the moment I needed to use this would never come. Like, he knows he needs a weapon, but, like, what it's going to come to is going to be so dire, you know? As I screamed out with all my might, I beat the metal bat into the ground over and over. Every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. He's like trying to kill his own humanity, right? Like, for his own survival, that's like what he's trying to do. Like, this softness, this weakness, whatever, is just like literally just him being like a person, like someone who wants to be happy, someone who wants to be like loved, like around people, and like just, you know, fucking human. But he's like, he has to kill that. Smash. Forget. Smash. Don't be soft. Smash. Know your enemy. Smash. Like hell, I'd let them kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my ragged breathing, I heard the first bell ring just as I calmed down. Gasped with a sudden realization. That was the final bell. As I felt all the tension drained from me, I let out a deep breath. My mind was in a muddled state for much of the entire day. I didn't feel like I was awake, but it didn't feel like I was asleep either. I couldn't say it felt especially comfortable, but I felt a kind of relief that the sanctity of the school part of my daily life had yet to be violated. Yep, for now. How long would I have to keep on living like this? I could only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me. Yeah.
ケイチくん、やろうやろう。部活の時間なんだよ。
Oh no. Yeah, we were able to avoid it last time, but fuck. Oh my god. The sound of Rena's voice brought me back to my senses. Snap back to reality. Oh my god.
ほらほらケイちゃん、ぼーっとしない。
Oh no. The stakes. So remember, like, throughout the whole game, every time they were at club, and I was gonna be like, oh, the bet, like, the stakes are gonna be something fucked up. And before it was always like, go slap the back of the principal's head or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like this is going to be, like, bad. This is bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jigsaw wants to play a game, Keiichi.
机を寄せて寄せて。
Everyone was moving their desks together as usual. That's right, it was happy fun club time. Don't like that. But I had no intention of taking part. I haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag as I prepared to go home. Oh, you ain't going anywhere. You ain't going nowhere. It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid having to actually say I'll be going home now.
なんだよケイちゃん。今日も直帰なわけ？
They're not gonna let him. There's no way. Neon sounded quite disappointed.
気分が乗らないんだ。しばらくほっといてくんないかな。
Tone of the words that spilled from my mouth matched Mion's disapproving glare. Yeah, I'm gonna hold one headphone, like, away. Optical looked like she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood, she swallowed her words and stayed silent. Nobody said a thing. I took that to mean that I could leave if I wanted. Uh-oh. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like the tiny pins used to mount an insect in a display, held me in place. Wow. Rena was the one who cut through the heavy mood. Oh god, here we go.
ケイチくん、
やっぱり女の子と一緒に遊ぶのなんか嫌だったかな
She said it in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing through my heart. Torture! Oh my god. Torturous. Like, whether she's being genuine or not. Like, to whatever extent that's genuine or not. Which it's fine if it is. It's still torturous for Keiichi. Like, oh my god. If this pain was going to kill me, I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. Ooh. My god, why is Rikishi's... Dude, I love the way he writes, man. And this translation is great. Holy shit. I tore at my chest, violently tearing out the pins that held me in place.
そういうわけじゃねえよ。
I'd only be hurting myself by saying anything more, so I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, I turned away and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. Oh god. Oh, he really left. I don't know why I was so ready for them to, like, be silent, look at each other, then grab him or something, you know what I mean? Like, overpower him. This is scarier, though. It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. I firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Realizing that, I wiped it down with my sleeve. If something were to happen, I wouldn't want it to be slippery. True. Boys focused. Since this morning, I'd become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Even while walking, my ears pricked up and sought out threatening sounds and presences that could be closing in. Paranoia, even more, man. And that was why I could hear it. Without a doubt, there were footsteps. Those footsteps had matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. Oh god. What I could sense, it was just one person, okay, who followed him. But I had no intention of being careless. Did they intend to follow me like that car this morning until we were in a good location to assault me? Then it wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. The wooded path crowded with trees responded with silence, as if there was nobody there to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. I was certain footsteps were following me. And just as I stopped, the footsteps stopped as well. Meaning, the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was, without question, proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. The trees rustled with the sound of the wind. The Higurashi also joined in the dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. So interesting that, Higurashi when they cry. You know, the fact that Higurashi, of course, cicadas do cry like they do. Like, the word cry is, like, the most, like, evocative, like, part of that, right? As far as, like, what's going on. But, like, their ever-present, just, like, sound and just how Rikishi brings them up, like, during these tense moments and just, or just, like, whenever, you know, at these kinds of moments to kind of, like, bring it back to that is, I like it, but it's just, like, man, the sound is so... Dude, I hear cicadas, like, outside my window, and I swear, like, I've never, like, noticed them as much as since I've started playing this, which makes sense. But it's like, every time I hear them, I think of this fucking game, and it, like, drives me crazy. So I'm like, oh my god, it's just like, yeah, there goes that cry again. Fuck. Here we go. Had 5 minutes passed? Or had I been like this for a whole 30 minutes? It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, he was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. Then, I'd make the first move. Let's do it. Love it. I fixed my grip on the bat. I raised it up to my shoulder to be ready to swing it at any time.
おい、いるだろそこに。
With all of my might, I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees. But presence in the shade didn't budge. Till the moment I found them, they had no intention of revealing themselves.
分かってんだよ。そこにいるのはよ。
I screamed out angrily at them again, but even still, they didn't move at all. Then I'll go over there myself. Get him, Keiichi. With all due vigilance, I approached step by step. Stepping into the tree's shadow, I saw a human figure there. It's gonna be like Rika or something. It's gonna be like... I swear it's gonna be like Rika. That figure was curled up like a small animal. Oh god.
Lena.
Even worse. Even worse. Because I was thinking Rika, it's like... He would never hurt Rika. He just wouldn't. Keiichi? You know what's gonna be Keiichi's downfall? He's a good person. Keiichi has a good heart. He's a good guy. And I don't know, like, and I don't mean to be like, you know, he's a saint or anything. Like, he's, you know, he's just a person. But like, you know, this humanity within him, he can't kill the humanity within him. He's not a sociopath. He's not a psychopath. He's just a guy. You know, he's just a person that just wants things to be normal, to live a normal life, to just, you know, be a fucking kid. Because, you know, he's a kid. You know, these are all kids. But it's like, man. Damn it, Rena. When she realized I'd found her, her expression softened. She seemed apologetic, but wasn't going to speak a word.
なんか俺に言おうかよ。
I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed the question at her.
別にその
Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. But it was obvious that she had been following me.
部活はどうしたんだよ。
ケイチ君がお休みしたからレナもお休み。
A likely excuse?
関係ないだろ。俺なんか気にしないで遊んでろよ。
だってケイチ君のこと心配で。
Thinking about how I'd been acting up until now, it wasn't hard to imagine that my behavior could have been perceived as strange. So Rena was concerned. At a quick glance, that's how it would seem. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily, and he shouldn't. I don't care how genuine Rena is. She's scared, obviously. She's terrified. But I don't care how genuine she's being. Keiichi has to be careful. She's liable to do anything, no matter how much she actually cares. Keiichi has to be careful. Even if that was really the case, she still wouldn't have to do something like try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone out right with me. But Rena didn't do that. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed, yeah? And with the mochi and like... Who saw that, you know? So much is done with intention that it's like, yeah. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deviously tried to hide her presence from me. Then after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her, but without a doubt, she was tailing me. I wonder if they'll ever be able to talk with her mask off, and Keiichi just like, in his honesty, like just really like talk between the two of them. I would like that. As scary as that would be, I would like that.
もうついてくんなよ。
Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. After I'd walked for a bit, she ignored my command and began walking again. So I yelled at her once more. Oh, goodness. She was ordered. Of course, she was ordered to follow him. Of course she was. It makes sense, but like, fuck, man.
ついてくるなって言ってるだろ。
Because she can't stop.
だってレナの家も同じ方向だし。
じゃあレナが先を歩けよ。レナが見えなくなったら俺も歩く。
I love it, Keiichi. Stick to your guns, buddy. Stick to your fucking guns, man. I moved out of the way and waved my bat violently to urge her forward.
レナはケイチ君と一緒に帰りたいな。
Rena. Rena, you poor girl. I feel so bad for you. But I'm with my boy Keiichi. No. No. Making a pitiful expression, she meekly squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. That agitated me to no end. Yeah, it's pissing him off now. He is like... I knew it was a lie. Yeah, now who's a liar? If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies.
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
It seemed that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without me saying anything, Rena had understood what I was feeling inside.
分かったならほら行けよ。
I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat and started walking hesitantly, then stopped again. Uh-oh. Mask off?
早く行けよ早く。
Mask off?
行くからそのバットやめてよ。怖いの。
Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. She may have realized that I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. I lowered the bat, but still guardedly opened the way for her.
行けよ。これなら文句ないだろ。
There was nothing else she could protest. She passed by me timidly so as to not set me off. Oh goodness, this is so fucked. This is so fucked up. As I watched her pass by, she stopped completely after having barely moved at all.
おい立ち止まるなよ。
Mask off? Then, a powerful gust blew past us, barraging my face with dust. Oh god. Oh god. Yo, did she? Oh my god. The dust got into my eyes and clouded my vision. Yo, my god, did she just pocket sand him? What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. While rubbing my eyes with my left hand, I swung blindly with the bat in my right, protecting the small opening I had presented. But Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Oh, okay. Ryukishi, stop. Oh my god. I believed it. I believed it so much. She didn't. Attack me? No. She hadn't budged an inch. I could tell from the sound of her fluttering skirt in the wind. Oh my god. As her skirt settled, so did the silence. If there's one thing I can say about Rena, she has learned how to survive too. So yeah, she's not going to come at him while he's holding a bat. But she might say something now, so let's see. At that moment, the voice inside of me immediately warned me of impending danger. I feel it too. Dude, my fight or flight is like activated right now. I don't like this. I was caught by surprise. Yo, the smell of the air had changed? What the fuck? Without me realizing it, the air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It was like the air had suddenly become invisible concrete, like Rena and I were locked in this space. Rena didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her back. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Rena was the first to break the silence. This fucking game. Instantly, she altered her stance. Oh my god. I felt like I had just witnessed her shift from Rena into that other person who looks like Rena. Here we go. Oh my god, here we go, here we go. But the voice was one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice.
ごめんね。聞いてもいい？
Okay. Sure. Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately. As she trembled.
なんだよ。
あのね。
Oh, what is it?
どうしてバットなんか持ってるのかな？
The question Rena asked was by no means unexpected.
俺が何を持ってたっていいだろ。
でも昨日まで持ってなかったし。どうして突然。
This is maddening. This is fucking maddening. What do you mean? Why so suddenly? Rena? What do you mean?
別に突然でもいいだろ。
It's like they need him to spell it out every time. They're like, huh? What do you mean? Oh my god.
俺がバットを持ってるとおかしいかよ。
だって圭一君野球とかしない人だったでしょ。おかしいよ。
I couldn't tell what kind of answer she was looking for, and I was getting tired of answering her. Every time it's like that, every time. Where they are digging like for such an answer, and just like it's torturous to Keiichi every time.
突然野球がしたくなったんだよ。それじゃおかしいか。
おかしいよ。
She answered instantly, and that annoyed me slightly.
突然野球がしたくなった。
Oh, you gonna call him a liar again? Blanket engaged. Just realized I can't really hold it like this, so oh well.
素振りがしたくなったからバットを持ち歩いてる。それのどこが変なんだよ。
変。おかしい。絶対。なんで圭一君まで。
You too.
ぶつくさとうるせえやつだな。俺がスポーツに目覚めるのがそんなに変かよ。
Her saying why you two immediately made me think of like the classmates that disappeared. Quote unquote disappeared too. Basically the protagonist before Keiichi who didn't make it, right? Did he try to do the same thing? If so, that's concerning. I tried to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Until my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions, yeah? You don't have to.
ごめんね。ごめんね。そんなに怒らないで。
Rena still didn't turn around and spat out words of apology one after the next.
最後に一個だけ。
Wow,
一個
okay,
だけ教えて。
okay.
これ以上話す気も教える気もねえよ。早く行けよ。
I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she had been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. Oh my god. But even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. This is fear versus fear right now. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked her final question.
なんでバットまで同じなの？
What? What? I'm really wondering if she means like, but no, like, because when she said you too, I was like thinking like if she remembered from back then, from the previous year, is it the same bat that they both used, or does she mean someone else? What does she mean by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about.
お前何言ってんだ。
だからなんでバットまで同じなのかなって。
何を言ってんだか全然わかんねえよ。もっとはっきり言え。
Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed, "Oh my god!"
だからどうしてバットまでサトシ君と同じなの？
It is, dude. Okay, so it is about him. Oh my god. It's the same bat? Are you kidding me? That he tried to defend himself too whenever he was being targeted? And when I said that was concerning earlier, because it's like, yo, it's like Keiichi is following the exact same path that is going to lead to the same outcome. Oh my god. But the fact that Rena's saying that, it's like, this is her. She doesn't have to, like, this is her personally, like, being like, why do you have a bat too? Why is it the same? Like, it's like, this is from her. This isn't like her, like, probably being told to follow Keiichi or like find out like why he has the bat or what he's doing. It's like, this is her, you know, which is, yeah.
サトシってえ？
Upon hearing that name out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. By Satoshi, She mean the student who transferred out last year? No, that couldn't be. Renan tried to cover it up by saying he transferred, but Oishi-san told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat up until last year, who's believed to have been demoned away by Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of the Watanagashi by a drug addict, and not long after that, he suddenly vanished and was now missing. And, you know, we know the relation to Satoko as well. That Satoshi and I were... What? My gaze fell to the bat in my hands. Could it be? Satoshi Hojo. It was a bit difficult to see, but that was what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was just his bat. I thought they both borrowed like the same kid's bat, but no, that was just his, and Keiichi's has his. Oh my god. That is cruel.
ああ、これサトシのバットだったんだな。誰も使ってなかったんでちょっと借りたんだよ。いいだろそれくらい。
そんなことじゃないの。
The way Rena said that made it seem like this bat was something that should never be touched. Oh. Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine or a memento of the deceased. I could only stand there perplexed and unable to respond. Rena continued speaking without waiting for a reply.
サトシ君の時とどうしてそんなにまで同じなの？
Yo, I knew it. Oh my god. Dude, it's the exact same path. Oh my god, I hate it. That's so fucked. Dude. Rena was talking about more than just the bat belonging to Satoshi.
サトシ君もそうだった。野球チームには入ってたけど、本当は野球なんか好きじゃない人だったのに。
Dude.
それが俺とどう関係が？
サトシ君もある日突然バットを持ち歩き始めたの。チームに入ってただけでスポーツなんかしない人だったのに。
What about it? I closed my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Rena was trying to tell us something important.
サトシ君もね、ある日突然一人で登校するようになったの。
Dude, the exact same path. We need to deviate soon, dude. Oh my god.
ケイイチ君みたいに。
Was he killed? Dude, was Satoshi killed right after he started walking around with the bat? I bet he died right after that.
そしてね、ある日突然素振りの練習を始めたの。ケイイチ君みたいに。そしてね、ある日突然バットを持ち歩くようになったの。ケイイチ君みたいに。
Oh my god.
そしてね、ある日突然。
Uh-huh. And one day he suddenly... What? Rena swallowed her words. Rena's sudden silence brought a hush back to the surrounding area. It was then that I could finally digest the content of the entire conversation. She was saying my chain of actions was exactly the same as Satoshi's. What was the meaning of this? And again, the fact that she's saying this... Again, like, I love that this is like for the first time. Like, again, like before you could just knowing what she went through, whatever, and just knowing like what was real about her being friends with Keiichi. Of course, like, it was real to that extent, and she does care for him. But for the first time since like the reveal, or like everything unraveling, she is giving him a chance. Like, she snapped. She's like, you're about to die. You're doing the exact same thing. Like, it's like a warning, you know? It's the meaning of this. But till just now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. I'd never paid much thought to him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't even know anything of what he'd done. My actions today should have been my own creation after all the planning I had done. But they'd been the exact same as Satoshi's? And Satoshi, no more importantly, Like both Satoshi and I acted the same, and there was a really good possibility that what happened after would be the same. Deviate, bro.
レ
Deviate.
ナ、ある日突然サトシはどうしたんだ
Yeah,
よ
we gotta know more. That they came to see him at his house, right? What happened? Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. Don't forget about what happened to a guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen to me.
答えろよレナ、
Rena, please. You really care, Rena, please.
サトシはどうしたんだよ
With that, I grabbed Rena's shoulder violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. As I faced her, I felt a jolt travel through my entire body. Mask off? Mask off. Oh my god. Hello.
ケイチ君
It was that person that I didn't know. At least it definitely wasn't the Ryugu I'd been talking to up until now. The voice just now didn't have a trace of the trembling or emotion that it had had before. The amount of regret I felt for turning her around so carelessly was unsurpassed. Oh my god, this is the single most terrifying sprite in the game. The gaze that pierced like a cold needle, the smile on her face that invoked an image of having been carved out by a knife. Just don't call me a liar, please. Chills went down my spine. My mind froze under a layer of time. Oh, of rhyme. A layer of time. Both of Rena's eyes pierced through mine, leaving me unable to look away. As if to remind me of the fear from that time before, Rena brought her face close to mine, so close that I could feel her breath. Her face had filled my entire field of vision. Then, her sharply shaped lips grew even sharper, like the curve of a crescent moon. She grinned.
言ったよねケイチ君
After a short pause, Rena repeated the same words again.
サトシ君はね転校しちゃったの
Right? Yep, that's what you said. That is what you said. Transferred. Meaning what? To the Shadow Realm, Jimbo? What Rena meant must have been some new definition of transfer that I was previously not aware of, huh? Yep, it's coded. My throat and lips dried up. I couldn't even acknowledge what I had just heard. All I could do was swallow down my own saliva. It would seem that Rena saw that as a nod. Oh, okay. She pulled her gaze back and spryly stepped back 2, 3 paces. As she did, my legs gave out and I fell to my knees pathetically. Rena and me on my knees underneath her emotionless smile. That had to be a very odd sight indeed. Seeing me in that pathetic state, she neither scoffed at me nor held out her hand. Wow. But I could neither stand nor escape with her gaze shooting through my eyes. There was undoubtedly a metal bat in my hand, but right now it was useless to me. I was like a fly caught in her web. God damn, dude. Oh, man. Heavy sweat beaded all over my body. I could feel it dripping
しないよね
from my skin.
ケイチ君は
Oh? Do you think he won't? Rena finally released me from that cage of time after what felt like an eternity. But her question was missing something important and was incredibly vague. Once again, I swallowed hard, urging her on.
何をだよ
I thought she was adding on, like, but you won't transfer, won't you? Like, implying that he might be strong enough to survive, but let's see. What did she not want me to do?
転校
Yeah. Oh my god, the way she said that. Okay, that is terrifyingly supportive. I'll take it. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Achievement unlocked. Pinch hitter. That is amazing. I'm done. See you next time.